Hi, this is Ron Widener, and I'm coming to you again from my front yard right here in sunny Florida. So I don't know what the holes were that that dug holes in my garden, in my bucket garden, the very same night that I started it. But I'm moving on. I'm going to go ahead and do the irrigation today. So this is how we're going to build our irrigation system. These are the parts and the tools we're going to need. Here is a drill, and of course some drill bits. I'm going to need the 1/8" drill bit from here. We have some rubber bands, a water source. We're going to need a tape measure. These are end caps for a piece of PVC, 1/2" PVC. This is the 1/2" Schedule 40 PVC. Does it have to be PVC Schedule 40? I think it does, and that's because it happens to fit in these 2-liter water bottles really well. A pretty tight fit. So these are 4 2-liter water bottles, a hacksaw, and the multi-tool. And from the multi-tool, we're going to want the ruler and the knife blade. So that's what we need for this project. And I'll go ahead and get started and show you what how this all comes together. Okay, so for this first part, we have a line right here at the bottom of this 2-liter bottle, and we want to cut around this line, leaving about 1.5 or 2 inches of not cut material. So all 4 of the water bottles now have the bottom cut most of the way off, so that you can bend it like a hinge, right? That's the goal, is we want to be able to use that uncut part here like a hinge, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. So with that done, the next part is to get set up for cutting the PVC pipe. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. The PVC pipe, we want this to be cut into, this is a 4-foot piece of PVC pipe, and we want it cut into four 1-foot sections. So we'll take our tape measure and we'll measure out 1 foot here, like so. We'll take our hacksaw. That's what I have today. Somewhere I have a PVC cutter. That works fine, but this hacksaw is what I have handy. So take your hacksaw and basically just cut it right there on 1 foot and make 4 1-foot sections. And that's the idea here. Okay, so all the PVC is cut into our 1-foot sections, and next we're going to need to put some holes in here. So the holes we need are going to be 2 inches deep into the PVC. So starting from the edge, 2 inches. And the reason for that is here we have this 2-liter, and we're going to insert the pipe into here. And this space from the beginning of the 2-liter to inside is 1 inch past all this. So we want this to be 1 inch in, and then we want the hole to actually be another inch further down on the pipe. So we want 2 inches on this PVC pipe. So to do that, we'll use our drill. And the multi-tool. And we'll measure 2 inches in using our multi-tool. We'll take our drill and drill a little hole. Okay, so for this part, we're going to actually insert the pipe here into this bottle. Into this 2-liter water bottle. We're going to need a couple of rubber bands. This one's a little bit thicker than this one. This is the thinnest one that I have in this bag. So I have several of these style rubber bands, very thin ones, in this bag, and this one's a little bit thicker. The thicker one doesn't really matter, but the thin one is sort of important. We want a very thin one if possible. So we have 2 rubber bands from this assortment of rubber bands. We have our pipe with our hole in it. This is our 1/8 inch hole, our 2-liter water bottle, and an end cap. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the rubber band on the pipe about an inch or so on the end of the pipe with the hole. So this is the rubber band on the end of the pipe with the hole. We'll insert the pipe into the water bottle, or the 2-liter bottle, and drag that up tight against the rubber band. So this will be a little bit more this way. Okay, drag that up tight against the rubber band, like so. Once it's tight against the rubber band like that, take your thicker rubber band, fold it over a couple times, put it on the other end of the bottle, or the other end of the pipe, and roll it up. Now with that in place, we're trying to use this rubber band here as a stopper so the bottle doesn't come down. So it doesn't have to be on the bottle, just up against the bottle. And then this rubber band on the inside is there to act as a gasket so that, you know, water only comes down through this pipe. So the idea is water comes in through the pipe. And you see that this is about an inch down from this rubber band, and that's what we want. So the next part of this is adding the end cap, which is just simply add the end cap. Okay, so using a stick or a piece of bamboo or whatever you got, an extra piece of pipe, insert each one of these watering containers upside down into your buckets, and then push the stick down using the stick. Don't use the bottle, obviously. So push the stick down as far as it'll go, so that the hole is underneath where your soil level. So if it's difficult, like this one's giving me a little bit of trouble, I'll dig it out a little bit using a stick. Push it down, and then push this using your stick. Push it down into the dirt so that your watering hole is about an inch underneath the dirt. And I'll do that to all 4 of these, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, so the next part is to fill this container up with water. The last step is to add some leaf matter to fill up the rest of the bucket. So we'll just take some leaf matter. Okay, so that's it for today. Those are the 4 buckets and irrigation installed with the leaf matter and all that kind of stuff. So having just finished this, I could tell you already that for the next 4 buckets I'm going to make some more changes. But first I'll tell you a little bit about what it is that I'm doing and why some of these changes might be necessary. And so let's just start with, at the bottom of each bucket I have the holes, right? I use the multi-tool and I poked 6 holes. The idea here is that if the plants get overwatered, right, the water goes down because of gravity, right? So it goes down and collects at the bottom of the bucket, and should it get saturated, it has some, the water has some place to go, and that would be, through the holes at the bottom of the bucket. But it's, this far up from the bottom, right? So the bottom of the bucket could be very saturated. I mean, because that's actually what happened to some plants last year. Is My cucumbers in particular, I pretty much drowned them because they got oversaturated. So, so what happens now is the water can come out, the bottom stays super saturated, and if the soil dries out, right? If the soil dries out, the moisture should wick back up into the bucket. So, so that's one thing, right? I'm trying to control the moisture inside the bucket using a reservoir at the bottom of water that's saturated in the dirt and that is wicking back up and down. I'm trying to do this with only one bucket. I've seen other people do this similar concept with 2 buckets. I'm trying to do it with 1. What else? So the water bottles on top holding 2 liters of water. The idea there was to, or is, to try and water the plants a measured amount relatively slowly. So, once it's easier to manage what you can measure, right? So if I have too much water, it's because, I'm measuring it. I know how much water I'm putting in these plants. So, this is for record-keeping purposes. But also I wanted the water to go slowly into the bucket. An 8-inch hole was too big. So the next time I do this, which is coming up next week, I'm going to use a 32nd inch hole. So very 1/4 of the size of that 8-inch hole. So it's tiny, very tiny hole. So that's what I'm going to do the next time. So the 8-inch hole was too big. Let's see what else is a change and the idea. Yeah, so the idea here is that if the drain hole is small enough for that water, the area around the pipe, right, that goes down into the pipe, or the pipe that goes into the dirt, gets saturated and then starts wicking outwards. That's the idea. Again, it's about controlling the moisture. And finally, we are in a burn ban, like I mentioned already, and we're in a burn ban because we're not getting a lot of rain. That's the reason. So I'm adding the leaf matter on top of all of that in order to trap the moisture inside the dirt in the first place. So I don't want moisture escaping, and and that's really the gist of that. So the leaf matter is intended to keep the moisture in the dirt. Wicking is supposed to keep the moisture even throughout the dirt, and yeah, that's it. So the other thing, the next thing that happened was I had some animals digging holes in my buckets. Now, again, this hadn't happened before, but it did teach me a lesson. And the lesson that I learned from that is use starter plants. You could start your own plants from seeds, and tomorrow or the next day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, one of them days, I'm going to build a small, I'll call it a greenhouse, sure, out of 2.5 liter bottles. So I'm going to build some greenhouses, I guess we'll call them greenhouses, out of 2.5 liter bottles, and we'll start some plants in there. So 3, 4, 5 days, we'll have some seedlings. That's and if we don't, then we know we gotta then we know in advance. See, I don't know what's going to happen with these plants now because something was digging in it. I don't know if if the seeds are too deep now. There's a whole lot of problems with what had happened, especially because of the animals. And since the animals did dig in it, I went ahead and topped off the leaf matter early. I wasn't going to do that until I saw seedlings popping up. Seedlings, sure. Until I saw the plants popping up. But since I don't even know what's going to happen there, I just went ahead and put the leaf matter on now, and we'll just hope for the best. Yeah, the other thing is these buckets are a little bit shorter. I guess they're wider but shorter than the other buckets I use. So 12-inch pipe was too big. So I did it off camera, but I ended up cutting those pipes down to 8 inches, and that just fit the bucket a little bit better. So that's also a change that's coming up for the next one. So there we go. I think that's it. That's it for this series. I'm going to do 4 more buckets next week. I don't think I'll have to do videos on that unless if you guys ask me for a video. I guess I would. But because I just told you what the changes are. Smaller hole, shorter pipes. Oh, one last change. Also, the rubber band idea for the gasket inside the pipes, I think that's working out just fine. But for a little extra added measure of peace of mind, I might take some rubber cement and put it around the rubber band before I slide the bottle on top of that rubber band gasket. And that way I know I have a good seal and it's, and it's good to go. So that's the last change. So the changes that I'm making for the next time is a smaller hole, shorter pipe, and the gasket sealer with the rubber cement. And I'll use starter plants instead of seeds. That's it. If there's any questions or you have comments, please leave them below. And as always, I appreciate it when you share, like, and subscribe. Very good. Thank you, and please enjoy the channel. Bye-bye.